Okay, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and this video is entitled Inspiration: Why I Could Never Be an Atheist. There are all kinds of naturalistic reasons to believe in God and not believe in atheism, and I'll discuss a few of them. Two of them are an entropy-based argument that the universe decays from an original perfect state of zero entropy to a state of maximum entropy and no future work being done is the first argument. And the second argument is the so called fine structure argument, which is true, which is any kind of argument which points to how perfect the universe is, such as following the laws of the universe all of the time. And those laws are logically derived, which obey mathematics and logic, which basically mathematics is a form of logic. All right. And then you have to ask the question, where did the logic come from? The logic had to be created by something. But if we just leave those arguments alone for half a moment and talk about personal experience, the atheist might say, well, there's no reason to believe in God because of X, Y, and Z. But then if you tell an atheist about personal experience with God, they'll then call you crazy. Well, I'm going to tell you anyway because I'd be crazy not to. All right. So I'm not exactly sure what year this first started happening, but I know certainly because some of them I might not have noticed until it happened until years later. But the first ones that I knew that God was absolutely talking to me in dreams and visions from time to time, not all the time, because it's probably only happened about 12 or 13, 14 times, something like that in my entire adult life. But and usually it's about mega disasters that are about to happen somewhere on the earth over the next month, 6 months, or 2 years' time. 2 years is the biggest ahead of time he's ever told me about something that I know of. Had to be in 2002 actually, because the event happened in 2004. In 2002, I had a dream whereby I saw two hurricanes, or two tornadoes rather, travel, and I know the difference. I said hurricane because they symbolize hurricanes, even though they were in fact tornadoes in the dream. Two tornadoes go across the backyard of the house, and the first tornado was carrying a stone representation of the Great Seal, which is the symbol on the back of the dollar bill. And the second tornado was carrying a stone or metallic American flag. And the two tornadoes carried these American symbols across the road and dumped them on the side of the road. And then a forklift truck came along and dumped both of them into the ditch. And that was the end of the dream. And then 2 years later, the 2004 hurricane season happened. And not to mention I don't care if one person in the world watches this. I'm sorry for interrupting this. I don't care if nobody watches it, or if one person watches it, or if eventually 10 million people watch it, or no, or any number in between. That's not my purpose for making this video. I don't care if people don't watch the truth just because I'm telling the truth. If they don't want the truth, to hell with them, in my opinion. So I don't care if you watch this or not. I'm making this to bear witness against you, is the honest to God truth. So anyway, the 2004 hurricane season happened, and ever since then, the hurricanes have gotten worse and worse. But 2004 was the real turning point, because then 2005 happened, which was twice as bad as 2004, and then 2017 happened, which was about as bad as with Hurricane Harvey, which was about as bad as 2005, maybe even worse, because in some countries that got hit, they don't calculate currency and damage losses the same. But Irma was probably the worst hurricane in Atlantic Basin history, even though it didn't do as much damage in the United States as it did elsewhere. It actually had 6 Category 5 landfalls, and I want to say 2 Category 4 landfalls. All right, I don't need somebody reminding me that I'm not popular. I'm not doing this as a popularity contest. Like I told him, I don't care if one person watches it or if 100 million people watch it or some number in between. If only one person watches this and learns anything, goodbye them. And if they don't learn anything, so what? Uh, so where was I? So the hurricane seasons ever since then have gotten progressively worse, and it's supposedly caused by global warming. But the ironic thing is that in 2004, I actually started having dreams about the 2005 hurricane season, and I actually saw Katrina, Rita, and Wilma landfall in their locations on a hurricane tracking map in a dream months ahead of time. Wilma was several months ahead of time. Katrina and Rita were each 1 month ahead of time, respectively. And in the case of Rita, I actually told my brother in law ahead of time where Rita was going to landfall based on the dream, not based on the scientists forecasting the thing. And it hit exactly where I told him it was going to hit, which was shocking to both of us. Um, and then in late 2010, I was debating some people on Dr. Jeff Masters' Wonder Blog forum, and the question came up because I think there was a nuclear plant or some kind of power plant, some kind of power station, whether it was nuclear or not, I don't know. I don't even know if Mexico has nuclear, but I didn't know that then either. But anyway, the question was if a hurricane hit a nuclear reactor, would it destroy the nuclear reactor? And I was like, no, for that to happen, you would need a 9.0 earthquake, and that would only happen in Japan. And I said that could happen, and it would only happen in either Japan or California. And I said, if it does happen, it's going to cause a nuclear meltdown. And then lo and behold, 6 months later, the Japan earthquake happened and caused 5 of the 6 reactors to melt down. That's not a coincidence. That's a God incidence. That's where I was literally given a problem ahead of time and told the solution ahead of time. And does that happen all the time? No. I'm just as confused about my daily life as anybody else could be. Uh, but it absolutely happened. And I'm tired of atheists calling me crazy every time I report these incidences because they're world changing. They're incredibly important to not just myself, but to thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of people that are affected by them. And if I could get one person in authority to believe me one time, it might actually save somebody's life or soul, or better yet, save their soul. I'm trying to think of the last time I had one of these come to pass. And I want to say it was in 2016, which has done been 10 years ago. I had a dream that, or 15 actually, I had a dream that my sister had stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I actually saw in a vision an angel appear to me and say the 4 words, "We are cancer free." And I saw an MRI machine overlaid, superimposed over the image of the angel. And it wasn't like the stereotypical angel with bird wings. It was mostly the same, but instead of wings, the wings are not wings. They are some kind of energy that went off into the background, and which I don't know, supply energy to the angel, I guess. But anyway, it spoke to me and said, "We are cancer free." And the next day, it was announced to me by a family member, "We are cancer free." The same 4 words. Your sister's cancer is cured. I don't for 1 minute believe that medical science cured her. She almost died from the chemotherapy a couple times because the chemotherapy was killing her faster than the cancer was. But sure enough, she's lived 10 more years since she had stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. Actually, close to 11 years now. But at any rate, so if I remember right, that might be the last time this actually happened. Uh, and why it stopped, I don't claim to know. because I didn't do anything different that I know of that should matter, and it might just be that there hasn't been something important enough to for God to inform me about. I don't know, but I think that's the last time that God gave me a like revelation knowledge of something that was futuristic about to happen but not yet happening. Um, that I know of that actually came to pass. At any rate, you know, this person misses the point that I am not motivated by money. I am not motivated by popularity if you're still watching. I'm not motivated by self-aggrandizement. I'm motivated by one thing, the Almighty God, and I always have been. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please God and Him alone.